Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matthew Surdy of WBZ News Center 5, and we have a very important story to start off tonight's news. Understaffing in nursing is a severe problem, greatly affecting the well-being of America's healthcare system. In Massachusetts alone, 1 in 4 registered nurses reported deaths directly attributable to short staffing. What's more, 85% of those nurses surveyed said patient care was suffering due to short staffing by hospitals. At the core of understaffing is an inadequate patient-to-nurse ratio that is severely threatening the health of patients and nurses alike. In some hospitals across the country, a low budget leads to a forced 1 nurse to 2 patient ratio, something that can prove detrimental to the physical health of patients and the mental health of nurses as they struggle to accommodate to the needs of multiple patients. Most hospitals treat nursing services as a cost. This approach creates an incentive to minimize this cost and thus minimize the nursing staff. While this might save money, the approach puts hospitals at risk as the work required of nurses varies heavily due to a high number of patients paired with varying patient acuity. Staffing ratio and the overall number of nurses on the unit for the last shift of work have proven very likely to influence nurses to leave their current hospital job. A better work environment and appropriate patient-to-nurse ratios ensure higher levels of quality and patient safety. Ultimately, insufficient patient-to-nurse ratios underlie the major problem of understaffing in nursing, with relation to healthcare-associated infections, security worries, and the problems of staff burnout. To further understand the problems underlying understaffing in nursing, we sent on-site reporter Josh Seligman.
Hello, I'm on-scene reporter Josh Seligman, and I'm here at Bay State Hospital where understaffing has created various serious problems. One of those problems is burnout. By definition, burnout is the result of an internal conflict that opposes or hinders the employment of personal values and projects of the company. We have Kevin Farewell over here to talk more about it. Hi Kevin, thanks for talking with us tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
So Kevin, tell me what happens when a nurse experiences burnout.
Nurses experiencing burnout start to feel emotionally exhausted, unmotivated, and basically less fulfillment on the work they do. It really takes a toll on you mentally and physically.
So what can these burnouts lead to? Why are they so dangerous for patients and nurses?
Burnouts can lead to a number of issues for both us and the patient. The emotional and physical exhaustion often leads to depression. I don't think I have to explain how depression can impact someone's life, let alone someone whose job it is to take care of other lives. If a nurse isn't performing at their highest abilities, lives are endangered. Hospitals with high burnout rates also tend to have lower patient satisfaction overall.
Good insight. Why are nurses experiencing these burnouts? What's causing this epidemic?
There are a number of reasons for these burnouts. More obvious reasons include too much work and little rest, understaffing, and work environment. If there's a lack of communication, what's the relationship with other nurses like? Some other causes can be mental overload, emotional toll, or continuously adapting to new situations. These are just general factors, and of course there are personal factors people could be dealing with on top of these issues. It can be from the type of care they provide to their lifestyle or their social life. Do they have someone to rely on if they need help? All these can either make or break a nurse's happiness and ability to work.
While burnout has proven a major problem in nursing, security concerns in hospitals has also increased alongside the issue of understaffing. Nearly 80% of incidents reported in hospitals and other healthcare settings were caused by interactions with the patients, with understaffing leading to increased susceptibility for such issues.
Concerns have definitely gotten more serious over the years. A hospital is a very vulnerable place for both patients and staff. Just look at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. I believe it was early last year they had a fatal shooting in the ICU. I don't think it was hard for the shooter to get in, so it makes you wonder.
Again, we thank Kevin and the staff at Bay State for their time. Another problem is healthcare-associated infections due to understaffing. These infections arise from improper care from healthcare professionals when administering certain treatments. Of these, injections, catheters, and bandages are prevalent. In a recent study from Columbia University, researchers looked into understaffing among 34 units throughout urban New York. In this breakthrough study, the researchers focused on if there was a correlation between the understaffing of nurses and the risk of healthcare-associated infections. These infections are usually preventable. However, under the tense conditions that an understaffed hospital creates, precautions are often forgotten or avoided, causing these infections to rise dramatically. Through their research, the study revealed that for all 34 units studied, approximately 15% of all shifts were short-staffed. Of these shifts in which nurses were lacking, an increase of 15% in healthcare-associated infections was seen. These infections lead to high morbidity and mortality rates and contribute billions of dollars in healthcare bills each year. Furthermore, these HAIs, as they are called, have been shown to correlate with depression, anxiety, and disability for patients of these various ailments. In similar news, understaffing has also been found to increase the chances of pneumonia amongst patients. In the study by the University of California, several factors were studied in relation to pneumonia amongst inpatient units. From the study, it was concluded that during periods of understaffing, pneumonia increased by nearly 10%. Although a relatively minor disease, pneumonia, when coupled with more serious ailments and illnesses, lead to a higher rate of mortality amongst patients with similar issues. This is once again a very preventable and can be mostly avoided through proper nurse-patient ratio. Now, back to Matt for tonight's closing comments.
A big thanks to Josh, Kevin, and all of Bay State Hospital for their time. Understaffing in nursing is a problem that requires more attention and coverage in the media than it is currently receiving, as the functioning of our healthcare system depends on the performance of nurses. We hope tonight's newscast shed some light on the subject for everyone and prove the critical role nurses play in our everyday lives. Thank you, and have a good night.